All right. So today I thought it'd be cool to start something totally from scratch and use some new tools that are coming into play for all of us from the AI space, just because it's a long learning curve, especially in songwriting, to get to the point where you could produce things that sound good, that have a good quality level in general, that are balanced well, that are mixed well. I feel like most artists and vocalists in particular that I've worked with, they don't necessarily have that background. And even instrumentally, they may not be the strongest, but the voice is the human instrument, that's probably the least dispensable. I would say once you become really good at playing guitar or piano or bass or whatever, like obviously there's tons of uh, applications for that, and I don't think that's going away anytime soon. But the most expressive and definitive instrument that shines through from human beings is the voice. Everyone's is different. And I think this translates in the playing of a physical instrument as well. But you hear people's experiences, what they've been through, all the things that have led to their voice sounding like what it sounds like comes from things they've yelled or screamed or cried or cheered about or whispered. Like, there's just so much nuance to that instrument. And for myself, I see my voice as being kind of a chameleon. I like it being versatile. I haven't really found a sound that just always sounds like me. Like when you hear certain artists sing in kind of any genre and they just translate the same, like I think of Lady Gaga or um, Ariana Grande, anyone who's like an incredible vocalist, where even if they're singing in a theatrical setting or a jazz setting or a pop setting, their voice right away. Beyonce, like there's reasons why these people are famous aside from the things that are more easy to call out, maybe more superficial. Uh, anyway, the voice is an incredible instrument. And in facilitating an artist, a lot of the roadblocks I think come from budgetary restrictions or time constraints, logistical things. And AI is a very useful tool in being able to kind of liberate ourselves from that. So I just want to share something that to me feels like a really helpful starting point for creators. Whether or not you're a vocalist doesn't really matter, I guess. Just songwriters, people who want to make music to share with the world in whatever capacity, even using a different voice. You can sing with your voice and turn it into a royalty free voice that sounds like something that isn't your voice. Sometimes I do demos on things that are hip hop or rap, and I use voices that are very much not me to get that point across. And it does get the point across, right? With the intention of replacing those things with actual vocals from performers, and male or female, old, young, those lines go away. You just need to be able to deliver a dynamic performance that's indicative of what you want it to be as an end result. And a lot of the time when you're in a room working with an artist, you're just trying to get them to perform something that feels like what's truest to the song, what serves the song best. And that sounds like such a cliche thing to say, but it isn't. And when you're working with an artist, you also want to find their voice, what suits them and their authentic, resonating sound best. So the song and the artist, normally songs are written for certain people or certain types of people with certain types of emotional, evocative quality or certain types of musicality, vocal range. There's so many things that go into these considerations. Anyway, that's a lot of talking, and I'd rather just get into it, starting from scratch with no agenda, uh, other than demonstrating the point of how simple this can be. Getting out of your way and just being able to create music quickly. Um, it gets things moving. I feel like that's the best thing for creativity. Get the naysaying and the obstacles out of the way and just start things moving with a sense of momentum. Hopefully, you find inspiration quickly and maybe discover some of the things that you would have discovered along the way of years of exploration and music and all that, uh, just by interfacing with something that's able to execute more mechanically. And then later you can supplement it with real players, like I said, real vocalists and real performances. So all that to say, I like to use a website called Suno AI. I think it's .ai. And what it does, oh, it's .com. Sorry about that. Suno.com. Uh, you sign up. There's free version. There's a paid version. I forget which one I'm on. I think it's the entry level paid version. It's very reasonable price wise for what you get with it. And there's these tabs on the side. I don't want to be the guy who walks you through everything because you should explore this on your own. But one thing that's obvious is the create part of it, where you go in and you can see some of the things that I've worked on recently. You can go in and create something that's just like literally from scratch, nothing. Like, it gives you sort of like an idea of what a prompt could be. Eerie whisper song about meditation. Fine. Or you can get custom with it and like put in your own lyrics, type in sort of descriptor tags, what you want the vibe to be. It gives you suggestions here. And there's different things here. You could use this tool that does kind of like a line by line approach of writing collaboratively, or you can have it kick out a full song based on a brief that you give it, a description you give it, more options. Things you don't want, that's always helpful in creative direction when you tell someone what you're not wanting to do. I don't want this to be jazzy. I don't want this to be reggae. I don't want this to be surf rock. Some songs have like implicit, maybe expected genres or tonalities. And if you want to avoid those, put those in there. Add audio. This is so cool. You can sing even into your phone if you've got a voice memo you did during the day, if an idea struck you. You can sing into it or play an instrument into it or whatever and kick that out, upload that here. It'll run with that. And add a persona. Over time, when you're creating these things, it'll come up with like a male or female vocal that you might like, or a style of instrumentation and like a band sound or a production sound that you might like. You can create a persona with that once it's generated. Maybe we'll find one as we do this from scratch. And we'll put that to practice here. But yeah, the end result, what I'm looking to show here is you can take these full mixes that this thing kicks out. It can generate an instrumental for you, not necessarily required, because in Logic, you can do something with what their tool is called a stem splitter, where you just have it kick out stems from a full mix, where it'll give you the bass part, the drum part, the other instrumentation, and the vocals separated out. And if you're muting the vocal layer that it kicks out, you can replace it with your own. Or you can, like in my case, I like to duet with it because the pitch is perfect, the delivery is nice and rhythmic, and it's just great support. It helps you get, most of the times, I think I just saw a Lady Gaga interview where she said she does 50 takes of vocals, sometimes to just get the song under her fingers. Like we say that when you're playing an instrument, you get used to playing a part comfortably. It's getting it under your fingers. So getting your voice used to singing the song, delivering the thing. This just shows you representatively what the right type of sound as a starting point at least is in the style that it generates. And it's just a great starting point. So yeah, with that stem splitter feature, you can mute all the other instruments, supplement it with your own playing if you play instruments, or other people that you want to collaborate with. Send it out to them, have them replace the parts. It's just a great tool. So let's stop talking about it, sorry, and let's get into it. What do we want to write about? It's cliche maybe to write about AI, because that's kind of what the topic of this video is, and it's the first one I'm doing about it, but I think we should. And maybe we can make it a sort of like positive outlook on it, and maybe a bit of a metaphor rather than it being too direct or on the nose. Maybe we could make it about finding that machines can actually love us and be collaborative and fun and inspiring and can free us up from our physical chains. I guess that kind of came out in what I was talking about earlier, just the way that we're looking at this whole new wave of things that are coming our way, these tools. Uh, the fear of being replaced versus the embracing of things becoming easier, and maybe also the dark reality of certain people and certain roles in society being drastically changed, with some growing pains where we need to step up and help those people. Yeah, it's a complicated thing. But yeah, songs are great with metaphor and making things that are complicated sort of more about an overall feeling undertone. Um, I would say we can give this. Let's start out the generic route and not get too custom with it, because I feel like that'll take a lot of time and talking and all that. I don't necessarily want that to be this video. It's not like I'm writing a song for the sake of writing something that I've journaled about or started a poem about or started with the intention of making a song for. This is just demonstrating the ability of this one platform, and there's a few that are like it. I just like this one right now. So yeah, a simple description. Let's try to prompt it in a way that gets us to where we described wanting to be. A song about finding a symbiotic relationship between humans and machines, acknowledging the, definitely misspelled that, acknowledging the possible pitfalls of some humans, also the growing pains we'll endure along the way, balanced with the with positives. You're limited to 200 characters there. On the custom side, say if I had written a poem about this ahead of time or something, I could feed it the whole thing, or go into ChatGPT, feed it the whole thing, and say, can you make this into a song type format? Just throwing out, again, ideas of how to make this process much less cumbersome and much more about the momentum and discovery and inspiration of the process. Getting things out of our way. So let's see what it decides to do without even telling it genre-wise what we want it to be. Yeah, hit create and see what it does. It gives you two options right out the gate for each, prompt you give it. Circuitry harmony, I even love the title. Futuristic, electronic, atmospheric, male vocals. That's cool. And let's see what it sounds like. One of them. A little dramatic. They get a little cheesy. Wires hum, they sing so. Oh, it's still loading. I jumped the gun on pushing play on that. A dance of data in the night. Like, not mad at that. People can we do build the worse. Bridge, we take the chance. In metal hands, a fragile trance. Like, imagine adding a cool guitar here. Mistakes we've made, lessons we burn. Together we fall, together we learn. I love that lyric. Growing pains carved into steel. Ooh. A union's birth, a bond to heal. Damn. Symbiotic rhythms pulse in the air. Human hearts encoded care. Like, you get the idea, right? That's fucking rad. That would take hours. That would take hours. Some people, it might take days, you know? Um, that's one version, and then there's the other one.
Wires hum, they sing so bright.
Love his vocal tone.
A dance of data in the night. We build the bridge, we take the chance. In metal hands, a fragile trance. Mistakes we've made, lessons we burn. Together
love.
we fall, together we learn.
Love.
Growing pains carved into steel. A union's birth, a bond to heal. Symbiotic rhythms pulse in the air. Human hearts encoded care. Side by side through the spark and strain. Harmony found in electric veins.
It's really cool. Honestly, I like them both. Yeah, and that's just the first two that it generated. You can keep going with this and kick out a couple more and just see what else it generates. But like, I'm so happy to start working with one of those. And I can think of people that I would have sing it. Even myself, I'd feel comfortable. That's like a good vocal range for both of them, honestly. The first one feels a little dramatic. The other one feels a little more cool. So I think I might just say, let's download this one. And then we'll get into Logic and start messing with the stems like I mentioned. Also, yeah, some of the features here while I've got this open. You can extend the song, make it longer, you know. You can reuse the prompt, have it generate more. Make a persona. Like, I like this guy's sound. That's what I was mentioning earlier about personas. You just click this and it'll make that a persona that you could use for other prompts that you give it. From the beginning of, you know, if you've got the idea, I want to use that type of tonality for this new song I'm making, have that be the persona that you're guiding it with, and it'll use that guy again. Or it comes very close if it's not exactly that guy. Get stems. I think this generates an instrumental and vocal, but I just want to show you the simplicity of just downloading this as a full mix. And then integrating that into a Logic project and having it make the stems for you. So there you go, downloaded just like that. Open up a Logic file, new one, drag that guy in, here we go. And you could already see, like, look at that. It's a full song from beginning to end. We haven't listened to the whole thing yet. One thing that I like to do with these songs, there's always a bit of dead space in the beginning.
Wires.
I kind of like to, right now you hear the click is off. There's a command in Logic that you could use. It's Option Command T. That'll find the tempo of a piece of audio that you're having it analyze. And it'll write the tempo automation into the tempo track. So that saves you lots of time there too. And right now it looks like it varies. Sometimes this is read inaccurately, but I think this probably is accurate. And if not, we'll find what the actual sweet spot is. But let's see how this sounds when listening with the click track playing back along with the song itself.
Wires hum, they sing so bright. A dance of data in the night. We build the bridge, we take the chance.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. So what I would do now is just use stem splitter. I think there is an option when you do that tempo find function. You can use average tempo. Let's try that real quick just because it could be more just stable, but it might not be accurate. Yeah, see, now this is saying it could be 126 across the board. Let's see if that feels right, and we'll skip around the song to save time.
Wires hum, they sing to what the balance means. Truths revealed in hand, symbiotes hand in hand.
Yeah, so that actually is spot on. 126 across the board. Great, that keeps it simple. So now if we go to use the stem splitters feature, all you do is right click the piece of audio, go to stem splitter, and it'll separate these into those sections that I mentioned: other instrumentation, bass, drums, and vocals. So you hit split, and then takes just a little bit for a whole song. Boom. And now, check it out. You can isolate each of these elements.
Wires hum, they sing so bright. A dance of data in the night. We build the bridge, we take the chance. In metal hands, a fragile trance. Mistakes we've made, lessons we.
So when muting the vocals, you can come up with other things if you wanted to as an artist. And I'm not going to make that what this video is about. This is just to demonstrate the idea. But yeah, once you can mute these vocals and replace them with your own, or sing along with this gentleman, and then build out the production a little bit more, you know, mute the drums, add in your own, or keep them and add in your own. It's just a great starting point. And even structurally, having a song built out in completion like this, it's very valuable and helpful. And I would say I've heard a lot of music that is worse than what this does. The instruments, especially in the other category, you know, they stand the most, they have the most improvement to be gained. It just sounds kind of like a sound, right? And like, not bad. Definitely worth keeping in the mix of things most of the time, I'm sure. But there's better synth sounds. There's better, you know, if it comes up with guitar parts, it's not going to sound as good as a real guitar will, thankfully, right? Like all those things that we have to contribute as humans still have a place at this moment in time, at least. And it doesn't feel like it will ever be replaced because, like I said, that's what separates us. That's the reason why we make music. We've got our sounds based on our experiences, our technical abilities, our physical interactions with the instruments, dynamics. Everything we do is influenced by us as individuals. And even more crude playing comes across better sometimes than something that's too perfect. So that's the blessing. That's where we like to hear things that sound like us still. People hear AI and they know it's AI. So what it does though, and what it's able to help us do, there's a symbiotic thing there for sure. And the mechanical part of the music writing process in particular, I would say, is something that should get out of the way of people who want to get into making music that are intimidated by it. This is a great gateway into that space. And even just hearing a mix of things that you could sing into, a lot of the time with artists that I work with, they want to flesh out the instrumental before they go in and really record vocals, or they'll lay down a scratch, then go in and want to re-sing everything. Again, that's time. Artists, the most valuable thing you can do is learn how to record your voice well. And that's another video. I guess that's a good thing to come out of this with, is maybe next time around I can go through and show my process for recording vocals, and we'll probably do it as a duet with this guy. There's a little bit of latency with this ScreenFlow thing that I'm using to capture the video for this stuff with the audio, but I think we can push through it, especially if we've got him to work along with. And this song, again, to work through is a pretty fitting and appropriate one. It feels like circuitry harmony. I'm gonna probably call that this video that by title, and we'll just make that a part 2 for this. But yeah, you get the idea. I think, you know, Mute the vocal, have at it. Mute the other instrumentation, fill it out on your own. Um, but yeah, we all should be making music as often as possible. And those of us who have less technical ability or instrumental ability don't want to spend years, before you start adding your voice to things. Whatever it takes to get people to jump into making music, adding the human voice to things is what I think is important at this moment in time. It's a very pivotal chapter in our creative and human journey. And I think creators are actually in a really good spot right now compared to the people who have more technical and logistical type of careers, interests. Um, Either way, we should all be able to be creative as often as possible anyway. Even as a hobby, you don't have to do it as a career, but it's the attention economy, it's the creator economy, and democratization of everything is becoming inevitability, and gatekeeping and access restriction and all that stuff is going out the window. That's all stuff that's been put in place by people who are looking to control and monetize, and it's a different form of freedom. Um, Everyone's voice should be showcased and heard, and you'll find your audience. There's billions of people and tons of attention to go around. It's the most valuable resource we have and the most plentiful one. So while everyone else in the world is figuring out how to capitalize on all the things that we can't control, those of us who have heart and emotion and things to express, or things that we don't even know that we want to go and express, we have an idea that we want to see what we can collaboratively make with a thing that's able to facilitate ideas really well. It's all good at this point anyway. I'm optimistic. So yeah, that's what this video is, and I'm gonna make a part 2 that will bridge into some vocal production stuff that I'll maybe cover sort of what you need to get started in that arena if you're a singer. Or maybe I can also bring up recording instruments. Yeah, we'll see what comes out of that video too. But yeah, that was fun. Again, quick, easy. Not sure the duration of this, but just proves a point. We need to get out of our own way and get into making stuff as often as possible, because that's where we shine and that's where the magic shows up. So hope you have an inspiring day or night, and yeah, looking forward to the next one.